This Komodo dragon is chowing down on a delicious pregnant deer. It starts to eat the mother alive. You can see just how helpless she is. The Komodo dragon chews on her stomach as another one approaches and joins in on the meal. Together they bite down on the deer's flesh as she gives one last attempt to escape their grasp. But it's all too much for her as these two Komodo dragons continue their meal without worrying too much about her futile attempts. Eventually, the two Komodo dragons eat the pregnant deer right down to the bone, leaving the top half still intact. This clip shows just how brutal the Komodo dragon can really be. In its mouth is a very small monkey. The monkey looks visibly distressed as the Komodo dragon attacks it and tries to subdue it, while it is still very much alive. The monkey grasps and screams as it tries to get the Komodo dragon to loosen its grip. It drags the monkey into the dirt and contorts its body, nearly snapping the monkey's neck. The monkey is firmly in the Komodo's grasp, but we can see it still blinking and twitching. This kill would have been slow and brutal, but the Komodo dragon earned its meal. In this clip, a Komodo dragon has targeted a young buffalo, and on top of that, it has chosen to do it right in front of the adults. The baby buffalo tries its hardest to escape as the older buffaloes watch on in horror, unable to help. The Komodo dragon viciously pulls at the young buffalo, obviously causing it a great deal of pain in the process. Once the grip is secured, two more Komodo dragons come in and take a bite. They start to tear the poor young buffalo to shreds, not caring about the other buffalo watching. It quickly gets messy as blood covers one of the Komodo dragon's heads. They enjoy their meal, which is enough to feed a family of Komodo dragons. Here the Komodo dragon spots a hole in the ground and goes to look for some food. It crawls in, its slim body allowing it to scout out the hole with no problems. Then it comes out with something in its mouth. We can see that it has caught a rabbit. While the Komodo dragon is biting down and killing the rabbit very gently, a second rabbit pops out to see what's happening. This rabbit is smart, however, and decides to run before it becomes seconds. The Komodo dragon continues on with its meal and swallows the rabbit whole. It is quite a sight to behold. See what happens in this clip. A group of hungry and vicious Komodo dragons spot a lone impala in the shallow waters. The impala sees them but doesn't flee. One of the Komodo dragons walks up to it and attacks. It drags the struggling body to the dry shore as the impala attempts to fight back. The impala is weak, and this is a good thing for the Komodo dragon because it obviously has a bit of a struggle with carrying the weight of it along that short distance. But once on land, the other Komodo dragons come and join in on the feast. The impala didn't stand much of a chance and succumbs quite easily to the Komodo dragon's attacks. They bite and tear into its skin in quite a messy and ferocious way. They very apparently enjoy their meal here out on the beach. Here, a Komodo dragon has found a wild boar. It's meaty and large, a great choice for today's meal. The Komodo dragon starts on it while it is still merely injured and thrashing, but as soon as it tears the skin right off the back of the wild boar, the fight is over. This brutal display is normal for the Komodo dragon. Just look at how this Komodo dragon is so invested in its meal and takes large chunks right off of its lifeless body. It lifts the dead wild boar up off of the ground and then continues eating, and we get to see just how strong these terrifying animals really are. As you can see here, a python has gotten itself wrapped around this Komodo dragon's face. This looks like an easy battle, and one that is already won by the python. But the Komodo dragon is not giving up. The python constricts itself and makes it harder for the Komodo dragon to move, but this one uses its feet to try and pry the python off of its face. It tries its best, but the python remains still. It squirms some more and then decides to twist and thrash around a bit. The python unwraps off of the Komodo dragon's face and then lands back down on the ground completely, where the Komodo dragon decides to finish it off and takes a big strong bite. Another battle won by the fierce Komodo dragon. Here we can see a Komodo dragon looking into some bushes. obviously spotting a tasty snack. It looks around for a while before taking the plunge and jumping right into the bush. It disappears for a while, leaving us anxious and curious as to what is happening. Then, we see it emerge from the bush, with a squirrel in its mouth. The Komodo dragon makes sure to kill it, patiently holding its mouth shut to make sure the squirrel is completely dead before proceeding. After a few more chomps, this Komodo dragon is ready to savor its freshly caught meal and eats the squirrel whole. There is something so horrifying seeing the poor squirrel's bushy tail sticking out of the hungry Komodo dragon's mouth. In this clip, we see a deer in the shallow waters of a beach. It isn't doing much to provoke the Komodo dragons nearby, but the Komodo dragons are hungry regardless. One of them takes the chance and hops into the water. It reaches the deer and with no fight at all, takes a bite. The deer squeals but doesn't move much. Later, we see the deer being dragged onto the dry shore. A group of Komodo dragons comes and joins in on the meal. The deer gives a few more kicks and squeals as the Komodo dragons feast without a care in the world. They devour the deer right there on the sand. The Komodo dragon has just attacked a water buffalo. The water buffalo is downed and partially submerged in the water, but it is still alive and struggling. It tears off pieces of its ears and face, chunk by horrifying chunk. The water buffalo is bleeding and in critical condition, but it is still not dead. The whole ordeal lasts for quite some time, as the water buffalo must stay still while it painfully gets attacked by this vicious lizard. The Komodo dragon does not even finish its meal. It leaves the water buffalo injured, bleeding, and barely breathing as it walks off and stands tall. The way the Komodo dragon holds itself high, with the water buffalo's blood smeared all over its face, proves just how tough this monster is, and how it shouldn't be messed with. This clip is a bit odd because of how cutely the Komodo dragon is dressed. We see it approaching a kennel where it spots a small pig. It inspects it and finally goes in and grabs it. Look how viciously this Komodo dragon eats the piglet, right down the hatch. It barely has to chomp down and instead opts to let the body of the pig slide right down its throat. A quick meal. Here is a terrifying clip. Call it cannibalism or dog-eat-dog, because this Komodo dragon has the front half of another Komodo dragon right in its mouth. That's right, a Komodo dragon can eat its own kind. Watch how the one getting eaten still moves a bit, showing that it was very much alive when attacked. The Komodo dragon pauses every once in a while, showing that this meal may be a bit of a struggle after all, but it still succeeds. Can't really trust anyone now, can you? How brutal is that? Here, a Komodo dragon in a zoo can be seen eating an entire bird. The bird puts up very little struggle as the Komodo dragon thrashes about. This Komodo dragon does not care for its audience. It's obviously far too hungry for that. In this clip, we see a Komodo dragon stalking a weakened rat. The rat moves very little as the Komodo dragon approaches. The Komodo dragon strikes and the rat squeals, trying its hardest to fight. The Komodo dragon shakes it and even smashes it against the wall. The rat stops moving, and that's when we know it's time for the Komodo dragon to truly savor this much-earned meal. The violence in this animal is real. Yet another surprising battle. This Komodo dragon chooses to snack on a rattlesnake. The rattlesnake is still shaking as half of its body is inside the Komodo dragon's mouth. The Komodo dragon tries its hardest to get the snake to shut up, so it rolls and bites until the snake eventually dies. The Komodo dragon quickly decides it's time to truly consume the snake now. It gulps it right up. What a satisfying meal. While you're still here, go ahead and click on one of these two videos on your screen. See you there.